Should Rishi Sunak just swerve the Lords for the good of the country and for the good of the people and for national security?
Well, you know, this is real crisis time when it comes to the boat people, and it's crisis time, if you like, between the House of Commons and the House of Lords, the elected House of Commons and the appointed House of Lords. Now, it may be necessary to invoke the Parliament Act. As you've already heard, it's only been done 7 times before, but this may have to be the 8th time. We've got to try and stop the boats.
Yeah, we do, indeed. There's a poll that came out today that shows half of young Albanian men want to cross the Channel to come to Britain. I would argue that the stop the boats policy is not actually really working at the moment. It is more to do with weather.
Yeah, that may be the case. It'll only work when people know that if they come over to the UK, they will be deported either back to Albania or now to Bulgaria, because there are conversations going on with the Bulgarian government, or off to Rwanda to be processed there. Only when there is that credible threat will people realise that going across to the United Kingdom is more risky than it's worth. And incidentally, by the way, the French haven't reduced the amount of times they've stopped people by 50%. They've actually stopped 50% of all crossings. So in fairness to the French, they're doing a half-decent job.
Yeah, indeed. Well, yeah, like you've rightly identified there, a half-decent job. You hit on a good point earlier on, which I think is about the elected House of Commons and the unelected House of Lords. And if we have an historically elected government, because I understand that Rishi Sunak, of course, has not stood for election yet, but the Conservative Party, which has always stood on a ticket of being strong on illegal migration, OK, so people did vote for that. They just didn't vote for this guy to give it to you. And a policy that, if you actually look at the opinion polls and don't just look at Twitter or, you know, what Gary Lineker says, actually is quite popular with the British public. If that is being blocked by, you know, for the most part, a bunch of stuffy people, one of whom is a bishop, should that not just be avoided for the sake of democracy?
Well, I can't help think, you know, the Archbishop of Canterbury feels so strongly about this. He's got a lovely place called the Lambeth Palace, which is occupying several acres. I haven't heard him yet say that he's going to put up 200, 300, 400, 500 migrants, because he could in his extensive garden. So let's hear from you. And the other problem is that, you know, we all represent constituencies. I have around 100,000 people. Some of them are voters, some of them are non-voters. All of them want to use services like getting to see their GP and all the other services that the state provides. But with 5, 6, 7, 8, goodness knows how many more millions of immigrants there are in the United Kingdom, that's becoming more and more difficult. I remember, you know, what William Hague once said: we should be a safe haven, but not a soft touch. And most of the people coming over now, they're not escaping persecution. They're coming from safe countries like France, like Austria, like Germany, yet they are choosing to come to the United Kingdom.